Hi, everybody. My name is Samuel, and I'm here today with Rick Reynolds, who's really one of the leading authorities in the United States on infidelity and has been treating couples in crisis for well over, 35 years at least?
Yeah.
And so today we're going to talk just a little bit about our Hope Rising conference that will be here in Austin, October 6th. If you can't come to Austin, you'll be able to watch it live stream as well. And today we'd like to give you some information and help you understand what is a conference like this going to do for you. You know, why would you want to come to a conference just for betrayed spouses? I think at last count this morning, we've got over 150 people registered.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've got a great combination of both men and women, because trying to survive the agony of infidelity as a betrayed spouse, we know can be very isolating and it can be very painful. And so today we're going to give you some helpful information on what you can expect and why we really believe that this will be probably one of the most important conferences of the entire year. So Rick, being a betrayed spouse, it's not like you're looking to go to places that identify you as a betrayed spouse, but we've worked really hard to make sure that this is a safe environment and that they feel welcome. But I think there's always the question, why would a betrayed spouse want to come to a conference like this? You know, what is it going to do for them? Why do they want to sacrifice time, attention, and at some level, I think, almost come out from a very difficult place emotionally to be with us?
You know, I think through the years, what I've noticed is that people end up in kind of one of three places after infidelity. One of them, I call the first one kind of like this purgatory, where the infidelity ends up serving as a living purgatory, and instead of being able to transcend what's happened and letting the infidelity act as a catalyst to take them to a better life, they end up feeling trapped, I think, in an endless loop of like bitterness and resentment and vengeance and self-pity. And nobody wants that. And so we want to provide a way to get out of that. The second group of people, I think, are like settlers. They're able to save their marriage because they don't want to lose what they once had, and they renew their commitment to one another, and they find relief in not losing the marriage, and they maintain the status quo. But the infidelity isn't transcendent. It just kind of, you know, they get back to where they were, but it's sad to waste all that pain. I mean, you want to be able to have something as a result of this that I think is even better. And the third group of people, to me, are trailblazers. They're ones who literally work through the infidelity, all of the devastation, not trying to sit there and minimize the pain or the trauma that comes from all of this, but they take that pain and they use it. And like a sphinx rising from the ashes, man, they're able to sit there and take that, transcend it, and actually find, I think, a much better life as a result of having gone through this. And to me, Hope Rising is there as a way of helping people figure out how do they begin to transcend this and move on. And part of that's just going to be being in community and having other people who can help show you the way. It's going to be others. We all need guides to help us to get there, and Hope Rising is going to provide those guides for you.
Well, and I think that's a good point, because we talk oftentimes about how isolating infidelity is. For the unfaithful, sure, but in many ways, the betrayed feels so isolated, abandoned.
Right, even more so.
Right, and they're getting bad advice. I mean, maybe take a couple of minutes as to what the conference will do to help them maybe come out of that isolation, which is understandable, but is not maybe optimal for their recovery.
Now, one of the interesting things on EMS weekends, when people come together and they sit down at breakfast, it feels really awkward, and it's kind of like, oh my word. But interestingly enough, by lunch on Friday, everybody's going, wow, this is the best thing I've ever done, partially because there is so much shame associated with the betrayed spouse. I mean, it's like you feel like you can't let anybody know. In fact, you feel that loss of honor. And suddenly, when you get to be around other people who are like you, it sounds weird, but you're normal again. And how many people want to feel normal again? And I think that's one of the things a conference like this does. You get there and suddenly you feel alive and you feel normal. And that's an experience we really want people to have again.
Our conference is going to be full of some pretty fantastic experts. Cindy Beale, who is a prolific writer and survivor of infidelity, will be talking about some of her best pieces of advice. I'm sure she'll probably joke about some things that she was told that were really not helpful at all. John and Leslie, who are the writers of Harboring Hope, who have made several videos as well, will be talking about how to break free from anger and some of the traps that the betrayed spouse very easily falls into. And I think they'll also be talking about traps that that people don't even necessarily see on the front end, but fall prey to as well. Why don't you take a few minutes and share a little bit about what you'll be talking about?
Yeah, to me, what's sad about infidelity a lot of times is we don't know how to get our life back. I mean, not only get our life back, but like I'm saying, transcend where life once was to something better. I want to talk about being able to let go of all that hurt, but not only let go of the hurt, but how do you get to the place to where you find new vision and new meaning, and what practical steps can you take? Because far too often, again, I think people get really lousy advice and they're told the only way out of this, for instance, is just to, move, get rid of the other person, whatever. I mean, it's up to them what they get to do, but being able to get a great life, that's really what this is about. We want people at a Fair Recovery and through this Hope Rising conference to find a new life and a better life.
So let's be honest, because I know I talk to so many betrayed spouses, and I know what some of them are thinking, right? They're going to say, well, get my life back. I mean, can I really? Like, this is the most devastating thing I've ever been through in my entire life, for many of them. Not all, because there's other things, unfortunately, that we go through. But so many of them, and rightly so, have a questioning of, can I really,
that's always the question, isn't it?
Get my life back? And if I can, what does it even look like? I'm in so much pain and trauma. You're telling me that I can get some form of life back. I mean, what does that look like?
One of the things I figured out in our recovery is that it was healed individuals that served for us as vital guides to help us figure out how to do that. It wasn't people who hadn't been through it, but it was those that I had seen had been able to transcend it and actually had great lives and didn't live and rotate in purgatory around it for the rest of their life. And that's who I wanted to be. And what we want to do is provide that. I hope we can serve as guides to allow people to find that, to become just heroes of their own story, of what they're going through at this point.
And I know for me, and so many people like me, we were given so much bad advice. We were told things that if it was general marriage difficulty, that would have worked, right? Or if it was just a one-time argument, that would have been fine. But this is the highest level, I think, of trauma and pain.
Right.
And I think it's so important to get help from experts.
As I look at it, it's not just about avoiding bad advice, but the reason that having people who have gone through it, it's really helpful is you don't want to make the same mistakes they made. And one of my hopes is that people can avoid the pitfalls that Steffi and I went through. If I can help speed the process up so that people don't make the mistakes and have to climb back out of the morass of doing a wrong thing, that's also helpful. And I'm hoping, again, at the conference, you're going to find a way to avoid the pitfalls.
I think it's a great point because we also want to make sure that many betrayed spouses who are actually divorced
Yeah.
and are trying to find new life in light of the divorce, that this would be a fantastic opportunity for them to maybe hear, how do you move
Right.
on? How do you get to the other side of the hurt and the pain, right?
Right, but and it's tragic. Tragic that all of this has happened.
Right.
But yes, it's a matter of how do you move on and find a new life.
So we really want to do everything that we can to make you feel safe. We absolutely will be doing everything that we can for you to feel welcome, whether you're a betrayed male or a betrayed female. We're going to roll out the red carpet for you. We're going to give you the expert help that we know that you desperately want. It's October 6th here in Austin. You can hit the website, sign up there. You can email into the website if you have any questions. We look forward to seeing you soon.
You bet.